you need to be able to recover well. So I think of, nutrition really being the first and foremost. Once you get healthy, the weight, if you're overweight, it's naturally going to come off. Mm-hmm. So you, just to sort of correct this like sequence of things in people's mind, you get healthy to lose the weight. You don't lose the weight to get healthy.
All right, guys. Got Barton Scott here from Upgraded Formulas, changing up the supplement space. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
Just met you at a mastermind, and I saw you brought one to the table.
Yeah, this is just like a couple of things we do, but we do so much more than supplements. We actually get people well through a process. And as all entrepreneurs should be concerned, energy, right? This is a huge part of why I got into this. And it was years ago, and I was thinking, how do I possibly get myself healthy? And how do I keep people from around that are close to me from dying? I had gone through that experience, and feeling helpless, feeling like there's no solution to be found for someone that helped raise you is not a place anyone wants to be. Right. And I had this nagging feeling. I know we haven't talked about this yet, but I had this nagging feeling of there's a solution, and it's there at the fingertips. Mm-hmm. But it's as if my fingertips were encased inside this black box, and I could tell there's, all right, there's something. I'm close. We're close. It can't be that far off, but also we can't possibly succeed with the options available. So I know before the show you were talking about testing. I was like, yeah, we do hair testing. And the reason why is because you can't increase your energy or your focus, your ability to work those 12 plus hour days as an entrepreneur and get that true return on your time if you're not really healthy. Like I'm talking like athlete level healthy, because entrepreneurship for sure is the greatest sport. I mean, if you read Mark Cuban's book, he talks about that all the time. He owns the Mavs and yet has loved basketball all his life. And he's like, believe me, there's no sport that's like it, because it's 24/7, 365 forever. And if you want a forever level of energy, you have to test, right? So I trademarked a phrase for Upgraded Formulas called test, don't guess. And it just came out of a conversation when I was describing this to someone on a podcast years ago. And I said, and I was just kind of preemptively saying these different things, and it just kind of came out. And I was like, wow, I should really trademark that. And same thing with 8 hours sleep. Someone was like, what does it do? I was like, well, it's the best sleep you've had in years.
Just from one pill?
Yeah. Oh, well, from 4. But from the dose, we did a clinical trial on this, which it's the only magnesium product on the market that has a clinical trial behind it. And so it's different. It's not about the form. That's not how the body does it with food. A lot of people have been. This is your cue to listen up. If you're listening and you're like, oh, I think I know, like I take, this such and such supplement. Believe me, that's not how nature does it. So I call it bioharmony, because what we're really doing is listening to the body and mimicking that as close as possible, creating a plasma using nanotechnology equipment. And then on the testing side, and we're doing that for all of our minerals. And then we have a testosterone booster that's great for men and women. We've done a fertility clinical trial on that just recently. Wow. So usually only pharmaceutical companies do clinical trials, and they have a forever budget, but when you know something works, there's like just getting proof I felt was important, so that I could sit here and say, hey, it actually boosts deep sleep by up to 250%.
Holy crap.
In a clinical trial. So going from an hour to 2.5 hours will do a heck of a lot for your brain power.
That's a huge increase, dude.
Yeah.
And I take the testosterone booster from Costco. So what's the difference between yours and just a regular testosterone booster?
Sure. So, and that stat, of course, was for, either 8 hours sleep or upgraded magnesium. For the larger size, we decided to call it 8 hours sleep. And then the testosterone booster, we're seeing between a 30 and 50%.
All right, guys, shout out to LinkedIn, today's sponsor. As a B2B marketer, you know how noisy the ad space can be. If your message isn't targeted to the right audience, it just disappears into the noise. Luckily, with LinkedIn ads, you could precisely reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant. With LinkedIn's targeting capabilities, you can reach them by job title, industry, company, and more. Stand out with LinkedIn ads and start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. LinkedIn ads allows you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. You'll have direct access and build relationships with decision makers. There's over 1 billion members on their platform, 180 million senior level executives and 10 million C-level executives. You'll be able to drive results with targeting and measurement tools built specifically for B2B. In technology, LinkedIn generated 2 to 5x higher return on ad spend than other social media platforms. You'll work with a partner who respects the B2B world you operate in. 79% of their content marketers said LinkedIn produces the best results for paid media. Me personally, I've found some great podcast guests, and it's been an incredible platform for finding out new information. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/social to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/social. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be.
Increase in testosterone.
Whoa.
In 90 days. And that's a healthy point. So if you're at 900 already, don't expect it to go up to 50%. You wouldn't want it to.
Right. I'm at 570 right now.
Yeah. So if you're at 570, we get most people to say 800 or so.
Nice.
850, 900. And that's within 90 days. It's going to continue to go up some, and that's going to cap off, and it has a sort of balancing effect in the body. Because that product is expensive to make. No one else on the market has done this, where they've taken every single ingredient and made sure that version of the clinical ingredient, or that version is the clinically studied ingredient. So, and this is the other part that's key. Then a lot of companies go, well, they don't even read the study, first of all. And they'll take something like Tonkat Ali. Yeah,
I take that.
But they'll just take a regular one. And they know that 90% or more of the market has no idea. They're like, well, I heard just like that. Oh, it says that. Great. Versus like, does it have a trademark? And is it when you look up that, is that the clinically studied, right, version? Because that's going to be extracted a certain way, sourced a certain way, grown a certain way, put through a certain process, right? So, if we ever decide to private label our products, and you see something like upgraded magnesium with a trademark, then you'll know that it has our proprietary delivery system, or upgraded iodine has our or upgraded manganese, or memory, or metabolism, any of these things, right? So, but to take a step way back, so anyway, we do that for all 5 of the ingredients in upgraded tea, and it has this balancing effect where it strips out excess estrogen. So if someone, male or female, has too little estrogen, it won't strip it out. If they have too much, it will help you strip that out. And it has a balancing effect on progesterone. Testosterone, though, most people have no idea. Did you know that, true or false, well, it's kind of a giveaway, but do women have more testosterone or more estrogen?
I would think it's estrogen.
Most people would say that. And I don't blame them. It turns out even women have more testosterone than estrogen.
Wow.
Now, men have 10 times more than women, but women have 10 times more, at least if they're healthy, the ratio 10 to 1 of testosterone to estrogen. And yet, testosterone for women is not really focused on at all. You don't hear of women taking a supplement like that.
Right.
I don't, at least. And I go to all the shows. I know all the people at the top of the health. We're all either friends or peers or both. And I never hear anyone talk about it. So anyway, yeah, again, energy. Shilajit is in this, but again, you're probably taking a Shilajit that has heavy metals. If you're like, I take it. Yeah, it's like you're taking the wrong one.
I just found that out.
I can just tell you. So yeah. Okay.
A lot of the supplements are unregulated, man.
Almost all of it. Yeah.
So now I only buy third-party tested.
Yeah. So ours is third-party tested, in general, every single product, every single batch. Most companies are not going to batch test. I wish they would. Drives up the cost. And then if you get the report, I mean, it's an ethical dilemma. It shouldn't be a dilemma, but for some people it would be, where it's like you look at it, you have to throw that entire batch away.
Wow.
That could be thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And you get exactly zero profit on that.
Yeah, you lose money.
You lose. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a negative. And yet I think that goodwill and trust in the long term is the right way to do things. And if any business advice generally would be think long term. And if you feel like your strategy won't work long term, I'm personally not interested in it. Because I don't feel like that's ever going to be your life's work that you're going to look back on and go like, man, I'm proud that I just like did this short-term strategy to make money somehow. Because that just means that someone else likely maybe not, maybe. But if you're just day trading stocks or something and you get good at that, did you really increase value in the world?
No.
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
So, and did you really get a skill that's applicable? Like this is a skill, what you're doing here, right? So, yeah, I encourage people to just think that through that lens of like, one, when I'm 90 plus, am I happy that I did it? Did it bring me joy? And did it add real tangible skills to my life? Yeah, and then testing, just to go back to that, test, don't guess.
Yep.
Hair is way better than blood. So blood is you on your best behavior when it comes to deficiencies. Now, the interesting thing, the reason I chose to go minerals, and then I'll pause and take a breath there, is ultimately we're a collection of minerals. We're a collection of elements. We have some bad players in there, like heavy metals, things like mercury, cadmium, arsenic, lead. And you get that from brake dust, for example, sitting in traffic and you're just breathing in. It's inescapable. So when people say, well, do I really have to supplement? It's like, well, you need supplements even just for defense. You're thinking supplement, oh, do I need more offense? It's like you need a lot of defense first and foremost, because our water and our air are more polluted, a real stat, 1,000 times more polluted, roughly, either that or more than any other time in recorded history.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I knew about the water. I didn't know about the air.
Outside of like localized things like volcanoes, like just highly localized where there's a lot of ash in the air. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we could do about that, right?
Air, your air quality in your house, you should be opening your windows and airing your home out because it's at least 3 times more toxic inside, believe it or not.
Wow.
Usually the time to do that is going to be like in the morning. Get like a bunch of like door on each side, get a draft going through the house if you can. Yeah. We need to think more about indoor air quality, more about the soil too, because you can't just plant the same crops again and again. Even if it's organic, you got to be rotating crops because it's just pulling those nutrients.
Right, it's destroying the soil.
Out of the soil. And we've done that for decades and decades. So that is the reason why we don't have the hormone levels of our grandparents. Now, elements build all hormones. Elements build actually all macros too. Think about it.
That's crazy.
So it's just the energy equation at the end of the day.
Wow. Is it true 96% of people have mineral deficiencies?
Yeah, that is a CDC stat, and we know that's conservative. That was like 96%.
That's conservative?
At least, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was, I think, 1 or more. And I would agree that it's at least that from what we see. I mean, everyone has several from what we see.
I can't wait to see my hair test results.
Yeah.
Because I did a blood test and I had some heavy metals and arsenic and stuff.
Yeah, if it's showing up in your blood, then you definitely have levels of it. Because what the body tries to do is store it in tissue and get it out of the blood. So again, you're just soundbite. Your blood, your blood is absolutely you on your best behavior because the way that works, and this is for like every like just normal, hey, I only care about business sort of person, and it's also for the the doctor that has gone through the highest levels of medical training. Unfortunately, they take one or less nutrition classes. They don't say you don't take 10, for example. Like I've got an army of nutritionists that know more about nutrition than any doctor, unless they've self-studied. Unfortunately, that is how it's structured.
That's how Western medicine works.
The problem is that there's many problems, but to try to keep it positive, I'd just always be asking your health professional that you're working with what diet they follow and why. And if you don't like that answer, I would go the other direction. I've got like a million other ways to decide if they're a good person, but you have to just understand and ask questions. And you can ask questions not knowing anything about something, right? And just go like, well, just be curious, I would say, and ultimately find someone that, if they're not fit, if they don't have a lot of energy, if they're not full of joy and optimism, I would say don't model them.
Right. It's pretty crazy. I've never been offered a hair test. I don't think that's a common thing people get offered.
No, because the results are complicated to understand. You need a professional that's trained in that, and they don't train anyone in medication school.
Wow. That is nuts, dude. So is it true the COVID vaccine has caused businesses to make less money?
Yeah, for sure. When you think about it, the productivity of people have gone way down because you'd have like at least, social hour after work or a happy hour, and like people lost that. They got out of routines. It broke those habits and routines, right? And we're 95% habits by the time we're like, 35 or beyond. And so it takes a lot of rewiring. And that's why there's a lot of pain on, just stay home. But get out there, people. Get out there and live your life. You're going to need energy to do it, but, you feel great after a workout. But you need the energy for the workout also. You need to sleep well. You need to be able to recover well. So I think of, nutrition really being the first and foremost. Once you get healthy, the weight, if you're overweight, it's naturally going to come off. So you, just to sort of correct this like sequence of things in people's mind, you get healthy to lose the weight. You don't lose the weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose the weight.
So that's like reverse thinking of most people.
Yeah, they're like, well, I'll be healthy once no. Your body, do you think a healthy person's body could handle the extra 500 calories every day? Yeah, for sure. They could. And then their body would regulate, their metabolism would kick up. They would deal with it. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
So does energy come mainly from diet and from sleeping, you'd say?
Yeah, we even burn a lot of calories. You can sleep better and ultimately burn more calories, have a higher fasting, basal metabolism. So all of these things are possible through sleep. Sleep is really our best attempt at immortality.
Did you see Lane Norton publish a recent study on fasting?
No, but I've written pretty much a whole book on fasting that I decided to roll into the book I'm writing now.
Oh, wow.
So it's definitely an area of fasted for 11 days straight, water and minerals.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear your take on it.
Healed a bunch of things.
Because he was not a believer in fasting.
Long-term fasting is different.
Intermittent.
Yeah. So there's some studies showing intermittent, both pro and con for sure. And if you're just starving yourself and you're eating a small amount, that's not good, obviously. Now, especially if you're just pounding a coffee and trying to get through your day and eat one meal, you can do that like a couple times a week maybe. But again, that's variation, right? Our bodies thrive on variation. They don't thrive on too many calories. They don't thrive on not enough calories. Pretty simple, like rule book. If you're doing, if you're doing studies to know that. I love that some people do, but yeah,
it makes sense,
right? Like I think we could just end the conversation there. And go,
simple enough,
guys. If you're actually hungry, you should probably eat, don't you think?
Yeah. So when you did fast for 11 days, what was the goal there? What were you trying to accomplish?
The goal there was healing my body.
Okay.
So I pulled my hamstring and I had a deep knee bruise. I was playing football and we were just like really rough. and grass was wet, slipping, and all sorts of having a blast. Don't get me wrong, but it was like, it was pretty extreme. We didn't take time to warm up. We just got out there and started throwing the ball around, and all out sprinting and stuff, and no cleats or gear or anything, and it just that's the reason why you warm up.
Yeah.
And I played football both ways in high school. Could have wrestled in college, wrestled a ton from the time I was a kid. Always warmed up,
Yeah.
And I think because of the wrestling, I got into nutrition around age 8. And by the time my mom's health was slipping, I was early 20s, and I knew more than most nutritionists ever would, frankly, because I was driven to do it, right? No one wants to lose in front of thousands of people.
Right.
And if nutrition is going to give you an edge, try to figure it out. And then I applied chemical engineering to understand at a deeper level, sort of like first principles. Elon popularized that phrase, and good on him for that, because we should all be thinking that way with everything. It's a more sound way of thinking. So there's a lot of nutrition advice. There's a lot of advice in every industry that just gets regurgitated, doesn't it?
Yep.
So how do you cut through that noise? You need a certain skill set that other people just don't have that's deeper. So you need the Hubble telescope. Then you see, is that a star out there? Oh, that's an entire galaxy, and look at all these stars.
Right.
It just helps you cut through noise.
Yeah, so that makes sense. You stay logical. You just follow the data, right?
Yeah, and I mean that brilliance can also come through in cultivated intuition, which comes through testing. So you do enough testing of different types, and you could wear CGM, and you could do a hair test every 3 months, and all these different things will improve. You can, as you get healthier too, all these things will improve your intuition, so that you could. I mean, then you can learn muscle testing. I teach that to a lot of
muscle testing. What's that?
It's using, they say the unconscious mind is 95%, something like that, but they never tell you how to use the unconscious mind.
Interesting.
So that muscle testing accesses the unconscious mind.
Yeah, because we do the same things over and over without even realizing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I notice when I brush my teeth, I start the same tooth. I'm like, God damn it.
Right. Yeah, try to do it with the other hand. You're like, oh my God. It like feels,
Yeah, I started writing with my left hand. It's really hard, actually.
That's a way to tap into the unconscious, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good to know.
So you can write your goals out with your right hand, and then write your goals out with your left hand. Be patient. It's going to take longer.
Yeah.
If you're right-handed. But take your non-dominant hand, and you'll see that the sort of, sounds crazy to say, but the heart and soul desire comes through when you take that non-dominant hand. Whoa. It's like going back to just the purest, most elemental, if you will, aspect of yourself.
Interesting. I got to try that out more. Yeah. What are the most common deficiencies when you're reviewing these hair tests you see?
And we have a whole team of nutritionists that go through our course, and they get really rigorously trained. And so they'll do all these, but even like Dr. Mercola reached out to have us go through those. And and he's one of the godfathers of the space. It shows you like smart people seek advice when it's not an area of non-speciality. Right? Yeah. So iodine, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus. People often have way too much calcium. So 2 things I would tell you to stop taking until you get a hair analysis would be calcium for sure, iron, and maybe even vitamin D.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was deficient in that though.
Yeah, and your calcium level might be so high. Often though, a lot of people have such a high calcium level that calcium causes a shielding around the cell, and other nutrients try to get in, and it's called a calcium shell pattern. And they just don't get absorbed as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I've had low vitamin D3 for years, dude. I can't fix that one.
And then they put fluoride in tap water, right? Yeah. Supposedly under the guise of, this is going to help your teeth. It doesn't. Fluoride not a fan in general at all, but certainly it has a zero effect when it's just going past your teeth and you're drinking and it's going in the gut. What happens on a real chemical level is whenever fluoride or fluorine is present in the body, lithium will break all bonds to come to it. And yeah, it's really, it's crazy because lithium balances mood, depression, and all have this in common.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that's what's causing these mental health issues. The lithium is bonding to the fluoride.
It's part of it. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So when you strip out lithium from someone's diet, I'll explain it like this, and I'll let anyone draw their own conclusion. What we know for sure is there's a study in groundwater in the U.S., but take whatever country you're in, and if people are drinking tap water, right? And this could be true for any of the water you're drinking. If your water is low in lithium, you have a higher. Let me say it exactly how the study was. The areas, picture a map of the continental U.S. The areas that had the lowest amounts of lithium had the highest amounts of both depression and.
Wow, direct correlation.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
So I created something called Upgraded Mood during COVID to help with that, to absorb, make sure it's absorbed through our process again, where you're going to absorb virtually all of it. So virtually all of that's going to get absorbed. It's also got some of other things like our magnesium that we did the clinical trial on, some chromium to balance blood sugar, all these different things, and some other aspects too. So
I wonder if something like this could help with preventing diabetes.
Absolutely. Preventing, reversing, especially type 2. Even type 1, diet still matters. Don't let anyone tell you diet would matter because, you have this genetic disposition. Do you think, should you just go the opposite way and have, obviously, you still do everything you can?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I have that diabetes predisposition as well as the Alzheimer's one.
Yeah. No, you don't have type 1, do you?
No.
No, that's just a disposition. Yeah. So all of that is influenceable through nutrition. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
It's something I'm keeping an eye on because my glucose was a little high on my last blood test. So I definitely got to not eat sugar and grains and stuff. But
Right. And for all of us should really avoid, things that make us weak. And that's going to be gluten, dairy, even if you're like, this doesn't make you stronger.
Yeah. And they taught us growing up it did.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Drink milk for strong bones.
And douse it and, douse that cereal that you can run a magnet over some of it and pull out iron filings.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Crazy.
I used to eat cereal
enriched with iron. I'm I guess they're just I don't know. I don't know if that's a conspiracy and they're trying to make us sick or they don't know better. Or,
who knows?
Or both. Can't be both, I guess. But anyway, yeah.
On top of that, 50% of people have that gene break that can't process fortified and enriched stuff. So
yeah, I mean, so here's another stat that you won't hear elsewhere, really. Men and women have a system in the body that recycles 96% of the iron they take in. So knowing that, would it be likely that a whole group of people, whether it's a menstruating woman or a woman that's in, just the latter stages of her life, no longer has a period, a guy at any age, would it be likely that they would be low in iron with that stat, deep understanding?
Yeah.
No. Now, again, they go, well, I tested, my blood showed low. What did I say about blood? Blood's you on your best behavior.
Right.
So in that case, you're like, well, but it's showing low. Yeah, because the body, so here's another stat that will help people parse that. When your body is able, and this is the case, to store up to 10 times more iron in the tissue than in the blood. So 10 times more. So you're like, oh, I'm low. How low are you? Well, I have half the amount that they say I should in my blood of iron or hemoglobin. Or just in any iron marker, really. Okay. Well, knowing that stat, again, go back to that stat. What was the stat? Well, it was 10 times higher. So you're saying, all right, well, my level should be at 10 and it's at 6, for example, whatever it is. Out of 10, you could still be 6 times. You could still be 10 times higher. You could be at 60. So in your tissue. So, and a lot of people are, and they released some great studies in nature.com, which is a well-respected, one of the top respected publications out there for scientific literature. So, yeah, anyway, like what they released, what they found was about 34% at least. Again, what they found, even, like, for sure, 34% of people were that died from heart-related incidents died from too much iron.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a large percent.
Because iron is difficult in the arteries, right? So then your body creates, it just causes inflammation.
Yeah.
And then cholesterol gets layered on top. And we think cholesterol is bad. But in fact, it's just a symptom of inflammation.
Interesting.
Now, when you run out of magnesium, here's another stat for people. When your magnesium is low, the flow chart would be you lose magnesium from a stressful event, too much caffeine, whatever it is, just flying, working a lot, whatever. Best intentions, still not enough magnesium for whatever reason. Maybe you're not absorbing it. Again, reason why I created the whole line. You lose magnesium, you lose all other electrolytes. You lose other electrolytes, you then get to cell death. You have cell death, the body goes, oh, we have to clean that up. Inflammation processes. In the short term, that's not a bad thing. I mean, you still want plenty of magnesium. When it's like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, months, many months, years, chronic disease. Versus, man, I never thought of this before, but chronic health, that would be great. Like, how do we make health chronic? How do we make that so sustainable for people, right? And I'm glad there's a lot of companies focused on this.
Yeah.
Not just from nutrition, but also from all the other technologies. I will say, though, if you do all these other things, you could spend tens of thousands on stem cells. If you have a lot of mineral deficiencies, and that's your most foundational thing, that's a periodic table that builds everything, right? Everything we've ever touched or eaten. Do you think they're going to work as well, survive as well, as if it's sort of like putting good stuff into a dirty pool?
Yeah, that's crazy. Another thing that came up on my blood test was some liver issues, which is crazy because I don't drink, but I took Accutane for 7 months, and that was 10 years ago. It's still popping up on my blood results for the past few years straight.
Yeah.
Have you seen any supplements that can help with liver?
Yeah, we make something called Upgraded Detox and Debloat, and it has a bunch of different sizes of particles that grab on to affinity. It has affinity for different things. So it grab arsenic, grab mercury, grab all these different things that a lot of it does get stored in organs. So
heavy metal detox is important. A lot of people have heavy metals from seafood, right, and dark leafy vegetables.
We almost don't see really anyone that doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's in the grains too, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can have arsenic in like brown rice. You can have like the husk. It's all over, man.
It's scary.
Arsenic's pretty bad on the body too.
Yeah, that was high on my results too, so I got to keep an eye on that one. Which is crazy because I just did a parasite cleanse, so it must have been even worse before that.
Right, because parasites are attracted to heavy metals. So
yeah, I cleared most of them out, but the levels were still kind of high. So it must have been something I've been dealing with for a while.
Good for you, man. It's important. I know it seems like a lot, but our bodies do so much for us. So.
Yeah, and at our level, every little optimization is extra 6-7 figures. So
exactly. If you have 10% more energy, even 10% more energy throughout your day,
that's massive.
It's massive.
That's an extra podcast episode. That's an extra hour phone call you could take.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's huge. It adds up.
Thought.
Yeah. Where can people buy these, man?
You can find all of this at upgradedformulas.com. And Yeah, we've really built an amazing process for people. I'd say, follow it.
Yeah, we'll link it below. And anything else you want to close off with or promote?
What have we not covered? We've talked about mood, fertility too, right? There's a lot of people that are struggling to get pregnant or just be vital. And like I said, men and women, upgraded T is key for that. Create a really balanced formula, so it's not going to jack anyone's testosterone up higher than it should be, but it will help you get to the point that you or feel a lot better at relatively quickly. A lot of people say it's experiential, like within a couple of days they're starting to feel something. Certainly within a week.
Wow,
a week, and then either 8 hours sleep or upgraded magnesium for just better everything. Really.
Yeah, you said 2 hours of sleep additional.
Oh well. 2 hours of deep sleep additional. Yeah. If someone's at an hour, we pretty much get everyone to 2 hours. And then it just depends on the person. But we've taken people from like 15 minutes of deep sleep a night and a lot of REM to 2 hours of deep sleep in like 5 nights.
Incredible.
Yeah. So really, really cool. And then you look at other things like, I'd say just closing out with some of these benefits. And this is true for 8 hours sleep too. So yeah, overall sleep quality improved by 22%, reduced depression by 19%.
Damn.
Reduced tension and by 19%, by 20%, reduced fatigue by 20%, also daytime wakefulness shot up. So you see people that have blood sugar issues that have tough time staying awake, especially around like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And naps are still great. Like that can improve the blood sugar in the body too. But you don't want to have to take a nap.
Right.
There's a difference, right? And I've been there too. I've had Crohn's, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, all sorts of things. Lots of brain fog, and I was fit too. I've never not been fit, but being healthy and being fit are two very different things.
Absolutely.
Right. And we don't give that credence. And we feel like too, if you're the fittest among your friends, you don't really feel like you should, complain, get help. Yeah.
Yeah, friend group's important.
Yeah. And then improve mood by 25%. I mean,
love it, man.
That's just like a PSA.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing great. It's the reason I started this company. I want people to not suffer, to feel a lot better, in other words, with things that I feel like are pretty simple fixes.
Yeah, we'll link it all below. Comment below if you guys end up trying to, and I'd love to hear some results. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, cheers.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.